Hey, what's up, Booktube? What's going on? Uh, it is painfully hot outside right now, and I am roasting because I had to turn off my air conditioning in order for the sound in this video to be of quality. Because that thing is roaring right behind me if I have the AC on. So you might see me perspire in this video. So, all right, let's just cut to the chase. I'm probably going to title this video Booktube Discussion Reading Projects. Reading Projects, that is the theme of this video. So before I discuss anything, I just want to lay out a quick definition for reading projects that I just made it up. It's off the top of my head. It's simple and it's vague. And it may not be the definition that you have for a reading project, but that's fine. I wrote it down. I said, a reading project is the reading of multiple books that share a common link. Or the deliberate reading of multiple books that share a common link. Now, there's a few parts to this definition. The first, which I didn't include at first, deliberate. You have to choose to read a certain group of books. You have to choose. It doesn't happen by accident. You choose this. Second part, multiple books, is you can't really have a project of one book. Maybe reading a book is a certain project, but I wouldn't call that a reading project. Even if it's the biggest book, like you're reading the Bible, I wouldn't call that a reading project per se. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm wrong. But I'm in my definition, it's multiple books. And the third prong of this is that they share a common link, which is vague. Like, what's the common link? Well, the common link can really be anything. We don't need to judge the common link. It could be you could read certain books by a certain author, like your favorite author. You read every book by him or her. They're backlist too. Or it could be you're reading books from a certain genre or a certain decade, like 1930s crime fiction. If you read a bunch of books, if you decide to read a bunch of 1930s crime fiction novels, I say that's a reading project. Or if you want to read a certain number of books on a topic of history or philosophy or whatever, a subtopic, anything. Any of that is a reading project, as long as it has multiple books and there's a common link. So I wanted to talk about reading projects today because I have never really done a reading project or never been deliberate about one until now. I am embarking upon, well, caveat, I've read a lot of books by some authors that I like, but it's never been a goal to like finish their backlog and to make that a reality. But the reading project that I'm going for right now is I want to learn everything I can about 1066 in England and the Norman Conquest. So that includes William the Conqueror. Actually, let's go back. My parameters for this reading project are I start at the reign of Ethelred the Unready in 987 AD, and it covers all the events in Normandy and England up to the death of William the Conqueror in 1087. So Ethelred came in 978, actually. I think I misspoke. So 978 to 1087. I want to get an amazing grasp of that time period in England and Normandy, but mostly England. And I want to hold that and grip it in my mind, know it so well, know it like the back of my hand, so that I will never forget it. Unless I get old or something. But I will never forget it because I have studied this so much. so intensely, gotten to know every nook and cranny of this subject that I own it. And why the Norman Conquest? That's a good question. It's not my favorite time period of history. I'd say Greece or Rome. So I don't know. It's not my favorite part of history, but it is one that I know. I know what happened. I know the major events. I've read 1066 by David Howarth. I've listened to the 1066 Great Course online, audio, by Jennifer Paxton. And I actually just finished The Norman Conquest, A Very Short Introduction by George Garnett from Oxford Very Short Introductions. So this is a topic that it is not so large that I can get totally lost in it. Maybe I already have. I made an initial reading list. Not a list that I'm going to read all these books, but all the books that I think I could read that are within the scope of the project. And I'm already above 50 books. So yeah, it's not a little topic, but I think it's littler than like a history of ancient Greece or a history of ancient Rome or World War II, as Mr. David Murphy is doing his reading project, I believe, on World War II. That is a lot more expansive, I think, in terms of the amount of the content that we have. There's less content on the Norman Conquest, even though it was much longer, or the period that I'm covering is much longer than World War II. But it happened so long ago that there's not a lot of primary sources, and just less scholarship about it. So that is my project. I don't know where to go from here, really. I'm not sure, like, how do you decide which books to choose? Like, I've got an Excel sheet here with a lot of the books that I thought might be of interest. And there's like 5 books on the actual year of 1066, 3 books on King Ethelred, 4 books on King Canute, the Danish king, 5 or 6 books on Edward the Confessor, a couple on Harold Godwinson, a ton on like the effects of the conquest, and then of course you have to know what happened before the conquest in England, like the history of England and the Anglo-Saxons, maybe the history of the Normans, and then if you do the history of the Normans, you have to do the history of the Vikings, because they came down to Normandy and they were the Northmen, which became Norman, and then a bunch of biographies of William the Conqueror. And then we can't forget the primary sources as well, of which there are not many, but it's important to read primary sources as well. You can't just read secondary sources. So I'm like, how do I choose the best books to read for this project? Like, I don't think I want to read 50 books about the Norman Conquest, at least right now. I don't think I want to, but I feel like if I'm excluding some, I might be not seeing some different interpretation of events that may be important. Like if I only read one biography of William the Conqueror and it's pro-Norman propaganda, then I won't have gotten the anti-William or the neutral viewpoint. So yeah, that is one part of the reading project that is daunting for me, is actually figuring out what to read. And I want to ask, like, you people who have done big reading projects, like, how do you choose? And then also, like, how do you acquire these books? That's a lot of books, and these aren't ones that I can find, or most of them I can't find at Barnes & Noble. And the ones that are on like thriftbooks.com are expensive. I usually shop at Goodwill for books, so they're not going to be there. they're not going to be there at Goodwill. All these random scholarly works on like King Harthacnut of England. You're never going to see that book. So it seems like I'm going to have to break the bank to get these books if I want to actually adequately finish the project. So maybe e-reader. I'm getting a Kobo soon because I don't like Kindle. But I was looking on Kobo, and one of the books that I was looking at was $67 for an ebook. How is that? How do they price ebooks? Well, how is an ebook $67? It's what is it? A PDF? It should be free, I think. But I mean, they own the rights, so whatever. But it's just ridiculous. So yeah, that's my update. That's my personal update on this is a reading project that I'm trying to start, but maybe I need a little advice. I'm currently a couple books in. I know. Where? Yeah, so I have this really cool edition, actually, of 1066, The Year of the Conquest by David Howarth. And I saw on an old Steve Donahue video, very old, that it was a nonfiction starter kit, like general nonfiction. He recommends this book. And I'm happy to say that for once, I actually read this book before I found Steve Donahue's channel. I saw it at the library randomly, and I just read it. And I liked it so much that I went on Thrift Books immediately and bought it. Even though I didn't have a need for it after that. I had read it already, and I wasn't planning to reread it. But lo and behold, now I have it, and I'm planning to reread it very soon, just to remember how everything went, like down to the nitty-gritty, or however deep Howarth goes. And this is a Barnes & Noble hardcover. Oh, it's awesome. Just great artwork, great lettering, font work as well. Awesome. A model of scholarly popular history, says the New Yorker. So, yeah. Another reading project, just a second example that I was interested in, is I have both of these books here. It's one, rereading my favorite comic, V for Vendetta. And two, reading a nonfiction work by Antonia Fraser, Faith and Treason, the story of the gunpowder plot, which these are connected because, well, V for Vendetta is a dystopian sci-fi world, but V wears the Guy Fawkes mask, and the beginning is like, remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder treason and plot. I can think of no reason the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. Is that a poem or something? But these are connected, and I was like, oh, that would be fun to reread my favorite comic book ever, and then learn about some of the history. So yeah, that was just an aside, a tangent. Which brings me to the main point of my video. Well, it's not a point. It's a query. My main point of the video is to ask Booktubers and also my viewing community, one, like, have you done a reading project before that you have enjoyed? Or have you not enjoyed? Have you failed? Have you failed a reading project? I'm just curious what projects you all have done and how did you go about them and what worked and what didn't work and how did you choose the titles for your reading project, or how did you choose the authors that you wanted to read, or the topics or the genres or whatever. I'm just curious. I want to know about all your experiences doing reading projects. And I would like to semi-nominate three of my favorite YouTubers These are booktubers that I have spoken to either via email or Discord before, and I know all of them have read extremely widely in history, and I feel like they might have some great insights should they see the video and want to make a post. There's no pressure in making the post, but these three booktubers are Ruben at To Readers It May Concern. That guy reads, I don't know what he reads, but he reads very widely, and he's incredibly astute in his historical insight. So he's number one. Number two is John David from Nicholas of Autrecourt. He is all over Historathon, reading history books like nonstop. So he's my number two. And then Justin at Triumphal Reads, number three. Also a big Historathon guy. Just looking at his bookcase in the background, it's just so many history books. And I feel like all three of these guys have done reading projects and maybe have some cool things to share. So just a suggestion, nomination, tag if you'd like. Obviously no pressure. But yeah, to anybody else in the comments, please do comment, for at least for my own edification. Since I've never really done a reading project, I'm very curious. All you readers out there, that I'd expect most of you are more well read than I am in the Booktube community. I'm getting better. I'm getting a lot better. But yeah, I'm just excited about this 1066 reading project. But I'm not stuck, but I'm in a quagmire. We're in some quicksand. So yeah, this is good. It's unfamiliar territory. So yeah, let me know about anything and email me. Did I mention my email? I don't know if I mentioned my email. If I did, I apologize and I'll delete this clip. But I have an email now, and it is in the description of this video. It's traumatictomes@proton.me. Email me about anything book related. I enjoy talking about books, obviously, and I think having an email is a great method of correspondence. It kind of feels like you're a man or a woman of letters when you send an email compared to a text or a comment or a Discord message or whatever. It's more sophisticated. So, yeah. That's my video. Reading projects. Booktube discussion. Yeah. Stay safe in the heat. Don't overheat. And I will talk to you later.